Right, good morning, good morning. Gotta go close the door, but we are in a trade. I couldn't get my camera working this morning, but that's all right. We got it working finally. So here we are. Got 5 15-minute looking at right now. I'll you guys some players in a second. Got FOMC coming up a little later. We have a little bit of some downward currents, we'll say. But we'll see how it goes down. So this morning, nothing crazy off the rip. You have an aggressive seller this morning, right here. Oops, not what we want. What we want. Aggressive seller here in the morning. Call this one as well a seller. Not super aggressive. Call that a seller as well. Bit of a 15-minute seller here, so I'm going to provide a little bit of overlap right here. And we'll deepen this red. See? Deepen this red here. Is that good? We'll just shove this 5 minutes pink. That's what we'll do. Okay. So new seller, I am shorting the market. I opened a couple positions up. What else? Oh, I have put options. I bought a put option last night, swinging it into tomorrow because I just have a feeling that a lot of people are expecting interest rates to get cut in the market to go up. And even I think any news, even good news, the market's going to go down. I think if it's bad news, the market's going to go down. I feel like the Fed's been propping up the market for the last 2 weeks. So if they've been propping the market, then it's like, it's not real, right? They're kind of just giving a good playing ground for us to thrive and kind of buying them some space. That way, if it does sell off, it kind of still props up the market. They can still kind of step in when they need to. So I'm expecting downwinds for sure today. Even we're just look at this chart right now. I could expect this to get down here to about the 320s, right? We could say that this right here is a buyer. And we do have a couple other buyers. You got your big fair value gap we're ripping through right now. Maybe somewhere in here. Another one. I'll double check on these. These are not. These ones down here are legit, but the ones up there are not legit. So these are just. We'll make sure that we're on point with those. We just don't need to right now. Well, we're getting kind of close, but we're still 100 points away. That could change quickly. So the data comes out in. Yeah, so here we go. 1 o'clock in the end of the afternoon. So we'll see. Whatever is gonna happen, it's gonna be crazy. I think. So I think we'll get to a certain point today, and then we'll have an FOMC run up, and then we'll have the right decision rip or dip. So wouldn't be surprised if we're like in the middle, if they keep it pinned in the middle of this range or even this range, they bring it back up to 475, 476. I think that's very likely as well. That's a very likely scenario. Market makers just try to keep it pinned, keep it positioned. So, yeah, we are short on both of our accounts. See, we had a really rough couple of weeks here. Balance is very low on this account. It's a little bit better on my other account. I did take a profit by other account, but this has been probably the worst price action streak I've seen on the markets. Like yesterday I didn't stream, but it was 6 back-to-back red trades, and they were all good. They were all system trades. They weren't like bad trades. So that rarely happens. Um, that maybe happens once every couple months. So we just happened to tap it. I think we lost about 900 on these accounts. So we will see. Might need to turn my mic volume up out now that I think about it. All right. So yeah, let me go find these let me go find these buyers. Something that I've learned is that not all candles are buying candles, right? Um, the shape of them, the way that they are in relation to other candles. I see my own volume here. All of it matters, right? So you got buyers here, little here, and let's see here. Where did this guy here? As you can see, tap back into that liquidity and bounced off. So obviously a buyer there. I'm just marking out the next few hundred points. They're all from a 15-minute standpoint. And that's pretty much what I'm just going to be looking at. More the macro. So even this one, right? This one, they entered in cold reaction. Now we're sitting right here, and we should see this get ran through. If not, the end should get ran through, and then we're going to tap down into these 700s, and it's I'm probably I would like to take my profit on my put somewhere in here. Yeah, that's what I would like to do. So let's see what's going to happen here. A little bit. That's good. All right. So here we are. As far as buyers, no real buyers in the market yet. This one tried to prop it up a little bit. Didn't quite get there. So besides that, hope you guys are having a good morning or whenever you're watching this recap. Hopefully we get these shorts out. I still have one more XFA that I'm going to get ready to load up. We took that payout. Just ran them a little. I didn't want to run them that thin, but I wanted to get some equipment for my cameras, and I'm trying to just make everything profits. I'm trying to do only profits from trading. So, um, yeah, that's the goal. So I think, yeah, I think that everything should be in order. I'm up roughly 75% on these puts from yesterday. Still not that much. I would still like to see it get down to let me see. Let us see. We got 15 here. Too much, but helps me kind of gauge. All right, we should see. We could even see it come down here. I mean, we do got this kind of buying happening here. We broke through that. So I'm assuming that we're going to end up either in this liquidity, this one, Make these green real quick, not to confuse you all. Or ultimately we could be down to this one down here, which this one would be excellent. I don't know if this will happen today. That's kind of a big move today, but I think that definitely the 585s today are very possible. Very possible. I mean, FOMC could drag that up, no problem. On drag it down, but obviously our options expire. We have 0 DTEs, so they expire before then. So that's that. All right. So here we are. We're sitting with these players, the current players in the market right now, and we're gonna see how market continues to react. I'm gonna turn this volume off so we can see a little clearer. And yeah, let's just get to trading here. So my entry was up here. These new aggressors kind of came in, and we were able to take. This is this aggressor right here actually. So we're looking for just a kind of a standard deviation move 1-to-1, and that'll be good. I'm going to be right back. Going to close this door real quick. People are still out cold. All right. There we go. Alrighty. So here we are. We did just close into these sellers a little bit more. So this is saying that buyers are here, but they're not looking to reinforce this position yet. They're slowly giving. To be honest with you, I don't think any of these buyers are real buyers. So if any buying comes in besides FOMC data or some leak, I think this is all baloney. We could definitely. I think this whole overall, if I was a gambling man, I think this whole move is bogus. I think we come all the way back down to 233. This player down here. That's what I think. Even lower. If FOMC is bad, they don't cut rates, or they cut them too aggressively. I mean, I think we're coming lower than 23. I think this whole thing's given up. But we'll see. It's too much. Too much. All right. Try and get these fills here. Up almost 100% on this puts, which is nice. And I'm expecting at least a 2399, at least that. I really do want to see us come down here. Check something out real quick here. Make sure we're on the right. Yeah, we should be. Yeah. Right. I'm gonna have to get these accounts copy traded, so to probably exit out and refresh the top step for that. I don't want to do that individually. That would be Yes, I lost a monitor. Found out the port on one of my monitors is broken. That was a bummer. I have two 32-inch LG monitors. They're very nice, 144 hertz, and yeah, can't believe it. One of them got roasted. I have had them for a little while, but it didn't really feel like that long. But oh well. All right, so this player is starting to step up a little bit, coming into this buyer, trying to take him completely out. Bears are in control right now, for sure. They even marked my pre-market, but I know we're below it, so pre-market low right here. Let's mark that one. I don't think we need to mark the high. I would be shocked if we come back up to the highs. Puts up 100%. Well, never mind, 92%. It was up 100%. We'll see. Get 100% on this next candle down here. Hopefully we open up a little bit, get a nice tag out down there. That would be nice. If we get it open up real quick, slip down. That wouldn't be bad. Now we're up 100%. Here we go. All right, up 100% on our puts. Okay. All right, let me just double check. Yeah, so if we get a nice little volume increase here, I'm going to take another short. Yeah. Definitely selling up. I think it's less selling aggressive, more lack of buying. I think the Fed's just kind of letting it go. The day before, they did what they can to prop it up into like the zone. I don't know, man. It's been pretty great. This price action has been horrible. It's you can kind of tell when there's organic price action and when algorithms are really going against the grain. That would be kind of the best way to describe it. Is market makers using the algorithms to just go against the way that the current is going. It creates like a nasty chop. Now, if the volume's low enough, it doesn't cost them as much to do that. If the volume's really high, it becomes a little harder. That's why coming into FOMC, things get a little tougher to do. And we didn't really have any real data besides that. We had a couple little news drops, but nothing substantial. Yeah. You guys having a good morning though? Been pretty I said a good job a couple weeks. If you guys are in any trades, let me know. Yeah, just a nice slide here. Nothing too crazy, right? This is just pretty consistent from 6:30 on. Top trend here, and then if we went through body, we can run through bodies. Pretty tight. It's kind of channeling, right? This is go. See, I still think we need to open up, come down, make this an actual, a true channel. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. So in this short, let me just recap why we ended up having this seller. See how there's a big wick here? So there's a lot of absorption from the buyers. Now, when you have a lot of absorption, the candle still kind of goes down. This buyer could still be sitting here. So I don't want to take a short knowing that these buyers are still here. Same thing with this one. Same thing with absorption. You could have taken this, but I don't take any positions off the initial balance, which is the first like 6 candles of the day. So when we got to here, these candles started to become a little cleaner, a little bit more fuller. Their closes are towards the end of the wick. Not this one, but that's okay because you could assume if there was a buyer here, right? Let's say they're here. They slowly started to get taken. So they got taken completely, right? So that gives me confidence with the new selling that there's going to be a continuation. And it's not so cut and dry as that, but that's the basic theory. We're just taking moves in the market and doing a measurement. So why not take this one right now? Well, look, we're starting to get a little bit of doji. We know that this buyer is sitting here, right? Um, we need clean cuts. Like if this candle closes below here with decent volume, I can take it. Even if it closes like near the end of it, it's still decent because you can assume these buyers are kind of hanging on by a thread. So it does lessen your statistical advantage, like the data driven. It will lower it a little bit, but it's still profitable overall. So that's what the data shows. Yeah, so we're seeing that buyer kind of step in a little bit, but again, with these sellers, let me just double check here. Let's see if we got not a real seller yet. This is just reactionary from the seller up here, this real one. So we could flow back and forth for a little while. You can start to see these top bottom wicks come in a little bit. So the buyer is trying to take it up, but he's not super aggressive. He's already let it come back all the way. The only thing that's really going to get this passed is if you get a new buyer. So a new buyer coming in would definitely take this up. And that's what you would want. So FOMC, they're going to be talking at 11. So I do expect very early. I do expect them to either do a flush and pump right before the market closes, right before Fed. Typically, there's always a pump unless there's like leaked info or something. But if there was leaked info, I think we would have gotten that selling beforehand. I think the Fed's too involved, so too involved in this market, propping this market up. So I think that they're really trying to keep it under wraps here. Very close to our take profit. Again, 400 is a psychological level. We see 24.4, right? That's a psychological level. We're playing the 23.99. So I don't like taking my profit a point below the 400 level, but we'll just kind of keep it there. If it does come down and kind of test and touch or whatever, I might take it off just to take it because there's no use in one point, right? Over time, though, if it's any other situation, not like that's big psychological levels, I'll probably take it up a point above. I'm saying no, sorry. If we're anywhere in the range, I won't take it at all. I just let it hit my TP. So still, buyers are trying to come in. You see that they're here. So they're trying to prop this thing up above. Again, we still have to come up. We could test these sellers, start to flow back down, see if we want to make a new low. But yeah, they're trying to shove this thing back up right now. We will see. See if this is in fact, a new buyer. It is not yet, but the volume is like it could be. Let's take a little peek at this volume here. So we got 8.5K here. We got 4.8K here with 2 minutes left. So this could creep up and have yourself a new buyer. Now, if we do get a new buyer here, now it's going to be a battle, right? Who's going to be stronger? Because we have a new aggressor of a seller here, and we have a new aggressor of a buyer here. When you're in a market where bears are in control, you're going to tend to stick with that until this bear gets taken out, or a shift in momentum. But even a shift in momentum can still kind of want to test that buyer at least one more time before you play that shift in momentum. So that's going to be that. I mark my 5-minute players in pink, my 15-minute players in red, my 15-minute players in green, and then you're going to see my 5-minute players in yellow. So that's going to be that. And usually I take out a little bit just so you can see that pink kind of hanging out. the only time you're going to see it. Seen that in other places. So now we're going to see the buyers test these sellers. Reaction here is going to tell us how convicted the sellers are. Now, if I was trading my different strategy, I would definitely short this. This is a great short up here in this area. Have a regular? No, I don't have a regular account. But even though we have new buyers, this is your current seller in the market. This is the position they've taken. I would want to play the very front of this. So I'll do. Let me see. I'll do one on my other account. Do one on this one. All right. So
order filled.
Sell one there. So we'll play the one position here. Now here's the idea. The idea is we're gonna get close. I'm gonna put a take. I only want it to be really tight. So we'll go maybe like 42. I'll put a stomp on that one at 42. Stop by one. Right? And we want to see it come back and test these buyers. So we can do a limit buy one here. And we'll put it right where that green is. So here's the play. This is a different strategy, but and obviously we can get a lot more out of this, but I'm just showing you that you can play between players. Now, if a seller is really, really aggressive, which this isn't that aggressive, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is not super aggressive. This is kind of just lackadaisical selling a little bit. Even though we're only down 150 points, 140 points. It's really not that much for the morning. This has been all morning. So when you have a not that aggressive of a seller, I'm going to assume that this seller, we need to at least touch into this liquidity. If the seller was crazy big and we had some very high volume pushing stocks, right? By the way, this is a new buyer. No, it's not a new buyer. Not a new buyer. Not yet. But if we had, what was I saying? If we had, see how that seller started to step in the algorithm? If we had really aggressive selling, then I'd front run it a little bit. Like even this is kind of front running it. I could have done take specific and done 3525. I front ran it just a touch, for example, but the idea here is I just want to play the front of these sellers to test the buyers again. That's the idea. Very tight stop, at least 2-to-1. It's not that big of a deal. 6 points, we lose $13 if this gets stopped out. It's not a big deal. With this strategy, I'll actually trade either 5 contracts or minis. So then we'd be risking more like $75 to $150 and looking for that double up. So now, as you can see, the algorithm here, the selling algo is still there. They want liquidity to come into them so that they can offload and sell. We just don't know who's stronger. That's the trouble right now. So we're trying to figure out who's stronger on this market. This buyer hasn't stepped in real aggressive yet.
Order filled.
Okay, we got stopped out on that one, which is not a big deal. Right? This is just for example. So, and to be honest with you, this still could come down. But we just took a little, it comes down to your risk management. I don't want to risk too much. I risk probably what I risk, like 8 points. So $17 roughly, plus commissions, almost 20. So the idea here was just to play the front run of the sellers and take a real tight stop. So I could have gave it a little bit more room. I'm not really interested in that though. I want hot reactions. I want a nice hot reaction. I don't want to be playing a cold reaction like how this is right now. And by the way, this volume's much higher. So we're starting to see a buyer start to aggress here. A real buyer is starting to get up into this area. Here's where probably the concentration of your selling is. This is pre-market lows right here. So we're going to see what's happening here. But in any case, that's the idea. That's theory around these areas and these zones, because these zones and areas will give you the most specific understanding of where the players are and who's got control. Even still, the seller has control. even though this buyer, I got stopped out by like maybe one or two ticks. But there's always that argument. I like playing it. I personally like playing it super tight. I like playing it like 5 points, maybe 5 point stop. If I don't give them a hot reaction, I leave. That's it. So you can see the selling algo is still selling into this buyer here. So this seller is not here. It's not up here. The seller's right here. Started right here specifically, and that algo is just fluttering into this buyer right now. Now, if this buyer aggresses and we actually get a tick up, so this is a tick up in volume, by the way. We got 10 seconds left in this candle. Mark a new buyer starting to aggress in a position, which we can right now. Okay, so here we are. We have a new buyer, and buyer's trying to approach, encroach on this seller here. So my 5-minute buyer is going to be in yellow, and wherever this retraces, that's where it's going to be. So right now, your buyer's right, your seller's right here. But we'll see what's going to happen here. You've had gold, silver spiking like crazy. We're expecting, I think, a half basis point cut on the Fed, I think. They're just going to be, this is this game plan today. All right, so you see that selling algo still here, right? I'm going to get rid of this. Yeah, get rid of this trend. Make it a little, it's going to start getting really nasty, this chart, if by the end, for sure. I'm scratching my face. My goodness. Scratching my face so much today. Yeah. So here we are. Let's see how that selling algo is still stepping in here. So this is the whole point, right, of being able to take it. Now, if we do close below it and we close right near it, I could take another one, technically. Take another one and expect a test of the lows here. This new buyer, though, is pretty not super aggressive, but definitely present. So this is it. We're gonna hang out now. Now it's time to hang out. We've been hanging out. I didn't even stream yesterday. The price action was so horrid. I was like, this is gonna be boring, and then I ended up taking 6 trades, and it would have just been a montage of losses. Couldn't believe it. Seven minutes left in the 15-minute candle. 2 minutes 30 left in the 5. Need new buying interest to come up into this area. Selling algorithms are still kind of hitting this player here. Go lower. I'm just going to put this right here. I'll bring it up when we find out where the real area is. Yeah. So as you can see, as I've been saying, seller's still present here. Drop this volume so you see a little better. Seller's still present. Both of these charts. Seller's still present here in this area. So this is marked off the 15. The 15 is what counts. This little break doesn't count on the 5. So this was the play. I got stopped out by 2 ticks. Could have put 42 or 43.25, and that would have been it. And then a test down to these buyers. But this is a new buyer, so we could play this one, but I would prefer to play the 15. But yeah, that's how that goes. Would have liked another I would have liked a hot touch here. I'm in for 5 right now. Press the wrong button there. Just bought in for more. I could double down on my position.
Order filled.
Not what we wanted to do. A little less than that. So we'll just say I'm still on that one. I think I played, man, I must have gotten to another one. So this is where we wanted that second one. Want to limit buy. We go right here, right off this button right here. All right, so now we have them coming into these buyers. I want to see them test off these 15-minute buyers to see if we're going to come back up again. So this is exactly the play I was talking about. We just got stopped by 2 ticks. The stop's the hardest part about this because you're trying to understand how much these sellers are convicted. 15-minute has a lot of slippage. I usually try and just stick to the 5. I use the 15-minute as a guidance for maybe getting in and out of positions. So yeah, should see this come down and get our other take profit here. Let's see, buyers are trying.
Order filled.
So there, that's exactly the play. That's the play. That's the playbook. First test on the seller, 15-minute seller. We play the very front of the seller, come up, and we play into the buyer. That's as simple as that. I'm happy mistake that I was accidentally in for the wrong amount, but that ends up working out for us. So, all right. Whoops. All right, so this 5-minute seller's gone, and now you have to think in terms of time frames. This goes with anything, trend lines, your VWAP, your volume profiles, anything. The higher the time frame, the stronger the conviction. So if I'm seeing buyers come in on a higher time frame, sellers come in on a higher time frame, that's going to be the stronger the conviction. That's why we're getting a little bit of a bounce here in the market, but bears are still in control. So that's how you play these. And we're going to see exactly where this one's going to land too. But yeah, that is quite literally how you play it. So this is just price action and volume, right? All of this is just price action and volume. Understanding who's aggressing, who's getting absorbed. These things are really important because if you know where they are getting absorbed at, you can start to understand where the algorithms are actually sitting. I think they're considered, if you guys know ICT at all, which I don't trade, but my understanding is that their SMTs are very similar. Like this would be almost an SMT, right? I don't even know what SMT stands for, but I just see it charted sometimes. But this is where a buying algo was. The thing that they fail to see is that the buyer is sitting right here the whole time. So we kick on some volume here. I can show you, boom, this is your buyer here. This is your buyer right here, right there. So you should get SMTs. If I was to drag this across, though I need to be paying attention, we should be good. If you were to drag this across, you should get your SMTs in this area. This is where your SMTs should lie. Look at that, SMT. See that? SMT, right? So SMT, look at all the way across. So this is how you identify who the real buyers and the real sellers are in the market. So that's why they call these liquidity sweeps. They're not liquidity sweeps. They're tapping into real liquidity. They're actually triggering an algorithm that's telling buy here, right? That's the idea. So if you understand where the algorithms are sitting and when they get taken over and who has control, you're going to have a really better picture of the market as a whole. Put a little trend there. All right. We should get taken out. I'm thinking we're going to run down here. Like I said, we could even come down to 321 and then get our bounce. But this should work. 400's holding on. That 400's that psych level. Still holding on to my put. Not going to Not going to sell that yet. I do want to see a final big flush and tap into some liquidity first. I just don't see this player being the player that's that heavy. Could be, but yeah, we'll see what happens. 38 seconds left. We can see this 15-minute is starting to get to the very end, the tail end of his life. But if he hangs on, could be like the Sparch and the 300, right? They could just hold on, 300 of them holding the whole market up. I do, like I said before, in theory, I do think the Fed is allowing this market to be a little bit more organic today. I think they're trying to soften the blow into FOMC. I think it's been controlled all week. All week controlled. It's been some of the worst price action I've ever seen. All right, here we go. So now we're getting this buyer still standing here, right? So this buyer's still trying to take up. I still think he's going to get lost here. Let's just take a little peek. So this is a new seller on the 5 here. Boom. So now we have a new seller aggressing this position coming off this 15-minute. This is very bearish. And they're really putting a lot of pressure on these buyers now. So we're going to see if this buyer hangs on. But again, this is a lot of pressure. So you could assume, though, if this new aggressor gets closed above, they're getting squeezed. This could be a shift in the momentum. So this is what I talked about with a retest of this buyer and us push through. So once you retest them, if they're still convicted, and you're going to start to have a lot of shorts trapped down here. And this could shift the momentum of the whole market. But until they close above here, it's unlikely to happen. It's more likely that bears are in control. We're dropping down. We're testing new liquidity. And we closed into that. So this buyer's down here now. He's on his last leg. I think we do get, I don't see how we wouldn't get another leg down, at least to the 50s. I don't think we'll bounce here. I think we'll bounce maybe in the back end. I think most likely, if we're going to get a real bounce, I think it's going to be 323, 220. And this is going to be your real bounce area. Right. Taking a look at these other charts here. We're up just over 100% on our puts. I'm hoping to get another 100%. I think we could definitely get another leg. I feel like we'll blow through this player and come down here, touch, and then get our bounce. I want to take my profit right here. Buyer's still holding on. This to clean up the charts for you guys. It's already going to be messy with all these colors, right? So you just need to know that these colors are sellers and buyers. It would be much like a volume profile almost, with their nodes are here and here, so they're showing you where the concentrated volume is, but I'm showing you where the most current players in the market are right now. So let's see, they're saying right. This doesn't really tell you. They're right here is where they are, but yeah, that's the thing. Volume profile is fantastic though. Don't get me wrong. I still haven't developed a strategy off the volume profile. I just watch it. You need a lot of time to watch indicators and charts to be able to digest what's happening and to have confidence and then back test in your theories, theses. Takes time, baby. Takes time. Yeah, we're just hovering down here. If we were to get rid of everything, we have a nice big stretch, and then now we're kind of, it looks like we're flagging and getting ready for another leg. So keep that in mind. It's very possible. And really, again, where you want new buying interest is above these new sellers. This is a new seller, a new aggressor. So if you get new buyers here in this area, then we're considering, okay, now shorts have lost their last player. I would say it's more of a balanced market. Doesn't mean the market's going to go up, but now you can play either way. Until that happens, though, it's short city. So I would stick on the shorts. Testing into these sellers now. See what happens. So as you can see that this algo is selling when it comes above it. But now you're starting to see it get kind of line liquidity popping up. So I just want you to think about the close and open of a candle. And I want you to think about this. If if sellers really want to sell, if they have 100,000 shares to sell, they're not going to unload 100,000 shares at the line at 44.20, right? That's not where they're going to unload it. If they throw up 10,000 shares, buyers are going to be like, whoa, they're going to get spooked. They're like, I don't know about this. Like, we're going to cool down on selling. Buying, because not only will we might get a lower price, we might be upside down in our trade. So they might slow down. So what the algorithm is doing is the algo is buying, in this case, selling incrementally. Look at that. You see how it tested up? So anytime the buyers start to come in, it trickles, just like trickles down, little cells on it. Doesn't go too aggressive. It does it in a fashion that makes the buyers still feel comfortable buying, especially new buyers. And that way they can maximize the shares that they can get out of. That's the whole point. So when I said that there's an algorithm sitting here and it goes up above it, the algorithm is still sitting right here. The seller is still sitting right here. That's how we know exactly where they're sitting in the market. And now when you have all those buyers come in and then it closes below that, you could assume that buyers are trapped. But it depends on the close of the candle. We still got 2 minutes left. But that's the theory behind it. So if you can start to visualize these sweeps, these aggressors with the candle this way, you're going to have a better understanding of where market makers are going to try and move the markets. Or if they're losing grip, they're getting squeezed. If buyers are getting squeezed, right? In any of these cases, or I should say buyers are getting trapped. In any of these cases, they're one and the same. So that's the idea. Let's see if we can finish off this little rotation here. Get a flush. Get ready to sell my put. I really do want to hold it into the Fed, but I feel like there's going to be a run up. I could double dip. Might be able to double dip for like a little cheaper. But yeah, I want to see this thing flush. Flush down. And then I got to set up my copy trading real quick. I got my finger on the trigger on the put. Still want to see the market come down maybe another 50, 60 points. But we're ready to sell this puppy. Well, let's see. Let's see if we can get this down a little bit. Should be getting pretty heavy. So this buyer here is kind of the last guy. He's holding up the market. But as soon as he gives it up, there's no buyer for 40 points. So this thing should stretch all the way down like nothing. It should, if you are looking, if you're understanding of the volume profile at all, the understanding is these higher nodes here are going to be more support and resistance, right? This is a higher node here, support and resistance, but this area here is going to be a lot more likely to move quickly through, right? That's the understanding. Maybe at the very bottom, it might start balancing out the markets, but that doesn't, you don't need to know that. Just understand that this is less volume. It's called an imbalance when you're looking at like a footprint or level 2 data. You don't need to know that. Just understand that the imbalance typically, they're more likely to get ran through a little bit. So, and find a seller maybe at the very towards the top of it. But you have a couple different nodes in here. But nonetheless, that's the idea. So if we were to understand that this is your volume from these candles, if we were to take that off and just visualize these as nodes now, these are the high point nodes. If we were to visualize that, we could see that this would be like a really low node. Let's see, where's my... let's just go like this. So this would be a high node, right? Be a high node, and then it'd be really low. And then we're going to get here, it's going to get high again. So you can imagine that, like the volume profile. So we'll get our support maybe in here, this area here, and then we'll come back up and test this, and then we'll probably be range bound for a little bit, unless you just get a cold reaction. If you get a cold reaction at that point, we're assuming that this buyer is just not convicted like how they were before, and we can get a rundown test all the way to 320s, which I think is likely to happen. I do think the 320 test is going to happen today. You're just not finding the buyers. These buyers are kind of giving up here. By the way, this guy gets moved, so there's a sliver of that new aggressor. Buyers are trapped. These buyers are trapped now if we close below this area, and it's the same principle as if buyers close above these sellers, right? So if buyers getting trapped here, they're going to look to sell to cover and get down here and put a lot of pressure on this. So the algo's hanging on by a thread, but I think they're going to have to give it up. Going to have to give it up. Is that a new low? Let's find out. That is not a new low. So yeah. Rid of that. Buyers hanging on here. We need new selling interest. That's what we're looking for. New seller to step up. If it's just passive selling, if the selling's still coming from this guy up here, this whole thing, we don't actually, this is a new selling guy right here, but we need new selling interest below here. In any case, that's kind of what we're looking for. We almost got the stop out, and I should have taken it exactly at 4,400. Now to think about it, I was distracted. Forgot about that. So again, like I said, I'm at 23,950. That's a psych level. Talked about it earlier. If it gets within 1 point, I'm taking it. Guess what I didn't do? I didn't take it. So it already ripped up 13 points away from it. Forgot about the psych level. It's all right though. Oh, that's a bummer, man. We had that in the bag here. That could be what's gonna help out this buyer here, is that psych level. So those of you that don't know, I'm pretty sure everybody's aware, but the whole numbers are typically levels where you'll have, I would assume, like retail buying. Um, it's just an easy, you're not gonna say buy at 4416.75. You're just gonna be like, hey, we want to step into 2400. So that level, especially on lighter volume days, on really light volume days, they're even more. So these days I consider a little lighter on volume, but that was a big blunder there. So the buyer is still active, and they still defended this position. How does that volume look? I wonder. 15-minute volume's looking still pretty chill, but definitely that was a little bit more discomforting. This is more discomforting for the long now. So now we're assuming we have a bunch of bears trapped. This is a bear trap pattern, and we could actually take the long off the retest and consider this half point a test. So unfortunately, I may have to close these trades because within a point counts as a fill for me, and I probably should be taking the long here, but oi, that is disappointing. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna move my stop maybe 3 points above here. Put my stop here. Take a little bit less of a stop. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So if it does reverse, I should be in this trade, but it still didn't get completely filled out. Let me just double check and see if we got the fill on here. So we did get the fill on our trading view. That's what's a bummer. So we got that wick out on trading view, but not on our data set for yeah, so that's a fill. 4050 is a fill. I think I'm gonna have to take this trade, guys, off the table, even if it fills. Oh, I'm gonna take. I'll leave the big account. I'm gonna take it from the small account because this guy pretty much got a better fill anyways. We tested that buyer and it's still pretty. I mean, that seller is really hot reaction here. That's kind of giving me a little bit of confidence. I'm gonna take.
Order
I'm
filled.
gonna take.
Order
Out.
filled.
I'm gonna take one out of this.
Order filled.
I'll take one more.
Order
Hang
filled.
on with one. I do not like this context at all. This is a short, though. I mean, this is a short pattern, so I could get short for 3 if this closes. That was just very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And we should be in the long. So I think we're going to go like this. We're going to go one tick above. And that's just how I'm going to play it. Whoops. Here, one tick above. That's what we'll do. All right. That was a little unfortunate, but we still managed to get a little bit out of it. Almost got our TP. I still think that I'm still holding on to the put overall. I want to see if we can get paid on this put. But that buyer stepping in like that definitely we got a battle going on in the market right now. So they're trying to defend this position pretty heavy, which is fine. Yeah. Man, oh man. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's all good. It's all part of it. So if this comes back down and closes, we're actually gonna take the short, beef up these shorts here again. We're gonna add to our short position, which is gonna give me some confidence on this short. But we need to close below about here. Yeah, need to close below there. If we get to close above there, I'm not taking the short. We get to close below there. Especially if we get to close in this zone here, it'd be a lot better. If we get to close right at the top of this, that would be less good. We got to close right here at the 12. That wouldn't make me feel super comfortable, but 30 seconds left. Let's see where it lands. A close in here would be a lot better. Basically, still putting a lot of pressure. Close above is saying that buyers are still taking their stand here. So that's where things can get a little tricky. All right, finger on the trigger. I'm going to have to do it on both. Unfortunately, I'm not copy trading right now, so that's going to be a little bit of a bummer. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 2, 1. That is a no print. Okay, so we stay out of that one. And this is looking a little bit more bullish. So still holding on to my put. The put, I'm okay with it going to 0 because I really do want to catch a leg. If we can get another leg, it's just well worth it. I'm okay with losing the whole amount. I want like 300-400% on that put. All right, with the retest of this extreme, we can play the market both ways now. So we can play the market long now as well. We will see. That buyer's just holding on, man. Really trying to prop up this market from this area. I think we could still get down lower. Well, what do I know, right? Yeah, so on TradingView, the print said it got filled at 4398. So it on the print on TradingView it said it got all the way down here. But on Top Step, it said it only got up to here. Very interesting. I stick with the TradingView though, so I technically should be out of this trade. And this is technically a long. But since I'm getting a little bit of a divergence in data, I just feel more confident waiting for a new high here. If it comes. You see that buyer's still holding on here. They are really trying to defend this position. Look how like, this buyer is just definitely doing everything they can, as efficient as they can. But once they give it up, if they give it up, not once, if they give this up, this is flushing. I see us moving quick. Boom. Even down here, they're gonna hold it up that much. They can't encourage new buyers to come step in, even with them trying to prop it up here. Boom, we're flashing down 22. I want to say this guy gets taken out completely. Because with how much time and energy they're putting up here, I feel like this is just gonna, they have to cover. So they have to cover and real sellers coming in. That's a double whammy. So, yeah, my thoughts on that. Look at them. See that? The very tail end of this is where the algo kicks in too. So, this whole thing. 5 minutes left. 6 minutes left. I would like this trade to be filled on stream, even though we almost got the fill here. It's where I should have actually just put my TP and been done with it. Yeah. I still expect a run up though. I expect a flush and a run for FOMC. I don't think maybe people might be afraid, but I mean, people obviously are. Look at the gold. Look at the organic bond auction, which is non-organic, and gold and silver, right? And oil's pretty much next. Let's see. We get this little tag, putting a lot of pressure down here. Come on. I don't want to take it early. All right. 5 minute close. We got rid of this buyer. We got this 5 minute left. Putting tons of pressure on this buyer here. Buyer's trying to hold on though. Look at him. Trying to hold on. We don't know how convicted he is. How strong is this buyer? The volume can kind of give us a clue right now. Let's see here. We kick on volume here. We can see volume is still pretty low, right? Volume is still relatively low. So this is saying two things. One, since the volume's lower, sellers aren't really getting aggressive. So this buyer can hold up this market because sellers aren't getting aggressive. Two, if this volume, with this low volume, it's still kind of cutting in and dredging into this buyer, this is also saying that the buyer is not so convicted that if it was higher volume, he would have been ran through it. Even on low volume, he's still getting kind of eaten. It's really up to the seller, though. We need to find a new seller in this market. If we can't find one, then stuck here. This seller's still hot here, still active. This wasn't a new seller here. This is a reactionary seller. Almost. We'll see. Yeah, if we don't close in this green on this candle in 3 minutes, I'm out of this trade. If we don't move green first. And I might go long. I want to see a close above this area right here. And when I say I might go long, we're going long because of this guy right here. This one right here. This was a bear trap pattern. Boom, boom, boom. What's up, nerd? Give it up, market. One minute 15 left. I do not want the close to be above here. That would not be good. Close above this green is not going to be good. We want to close inside this green area. If this bar goes green, definitely not going to be good. have to get this copy trading set up here. $15 seconds. Close inside here would be bearish. Okay. Makes me feel a touch better, but it still wasn't a great close. Tempted to take the long, but tempted. See if we can get the flush now. These guys give it up. It's going big. We're moving big. Getting a big flush. Oh my good. Look at this. Like an iceberg. Look at that. They're fighting for their lives right here. This is Sparta 300 right here. Telling you. Fed wants this position. They want this to be propped up right here. 400. Oh my good. This is just fantastical. It doesn't really matter. My reaction is for the entertainment. I don't really care. I do care, but it's very, I'm like, this is like, wow. They're holding up the sliver here. Look at that. I mean, we got to take profits in, so I'm not really tripping too much. I like where I'm taking this profit at. So if the seller's going to be hot, he's going to be hot up here. I would have preferred to get my fill here, especially with TradingView saying that we got the fill. I'll show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. So look at this. 5-minute TradingView, right? Look what this one down to. 398.25. And I do all of my testing and trading on TradingView. So this was the fill. Technically, this is a fill and a retest of the extreme and a coming back up. So this should be also a bullish entry as well. So this should be. Since I'm getting a discrepancy on data, I don't know which one to trust. I'm going to stick with TradingView. That's why I'm kind of hoping that I can come back down and get the print. But yeah, see if this thing slips. Give it up. You're not finding new buyers. No one wants to buy this market. You're going to have to buy it, Fed. You want this to go up as you've been buying it for the last 2 weeks. Bear claws. I've been smashing donuts. I smashed carrot cake last night. It's horrible. Horrible decision. Udon noodles too at the spot. So good. Come on, Nelly. Get down here. Gotta be patient. This is what am I? 2 points away now?
Order
I'm
filled.
taking that one.
Order
Taking
filled.
both of them. We're not ripping up this close. I should take the long. Let me get my copy trading set up real quick. Probably shouldn't do that with my, well, let me see here. Let's go here. Let's go there. All right. There we go. So I should be in this long. Let's get in this long.
Order filled.
Would prefer to get that better price down there, but let's get in this long here. And then 14 points. There we go. I'm going to stay in this short. Sorry, I'm going to stay in the puts. Just in case this gets ran through. I really do want to swing these puts really heavy. I'm okay with losing 14 points. I'm not okay losing basically a position to have a flush in the markets. All right, so we're going long because of the retest bear trap. Retest bear trap says it's a shift of momentum. This is supposed to be, now this is where it gets tricky. This is supposed to be a tag out on TradingView. So on TradingView, I'm supposed to take this long, but on Top Step, I'm still supposed to be on the short. Man, what do you do? What do you do? That way, I'm okay getting stopped out for 14 points. And kind of doing
Order
what I'm
filled.
supposed to. See, we got stopped out there. 14 points. This should really fly. The downside should really fly. I think we're fine. Yeah, we're up a little bit, but so that felt good about that as far as like needing to trade on TradingView. Felt fine about that, but still, it doesn't feel great. Does not feel great. We're slouching now. Now we're getting to super relaxed mode. Still holding on to this put though, especially with that stop out. We're saying bulls got squeezed there. I don't think there's another buyer. Still got the fringe of this one here, but I'm gonna say this guy. I'm gonna say this. They're gonna have to give it up. These guys are gonna have to give this up. These guys. These guys, the Fed, these guys. So if this was one leg, right? If this was one leg from basically here to here, we should get another leg. That comes down to 73 at least. We were measuring this as a leg. We're going to come down to 283. I think it's very likely to happen. So I'm hanging on to my put. Mm-hmm. 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 This is pretty slow though. I'm not gonna lie to you. We don't have any new buyers. That old buyer's still hanging on at the 400 level. I don't know where he went. That thing just disappeared. Basically, let me see. Yeah, so the bottom of them is right here at 404. Basically right here. 404.50 is where he's hanging on. So the next 5 minutes we close below that buyer's gone. We're just gonna if they want to make it slowly drift down, that's fine. We do a soft landing, but I still do think we need to move down. I need coffee or tea. Coffee or tea. We need to make something happen. Five minutes left in this candle. 404.50. Draw a little. Let's get a little. 404.50. So about right here. So this is where he's hanging. So if in the last seconds we rip back up above this. Oh, there it goes. Let it go, baby. Let it go. You don't need to hold on to this market, Fed. Let it be organic. Starting to slip a little bit when you see a big wicks like that. They're flipping the switch right now. They're suppressing the selling so hard right now. 3 minutes left. We've been holding it for 2 weeks, sir. Getting clapped. Let it go. It should be moving quickly. This algo player is still here until this 5 minutes closed. So he's propping up the market still. And by he, I'm going to say the Fed. Say. They want. No, it's fine. Interest rate's fine. Gold all-time highs, fine. Silver about to be all-time highs, fine. Everything's fine. Keep propping this market up. Let it go. Let it go, champ. 2 minutes, 30 seconds left in this 15. This is going to be the telltale right here. Will they try and take a position and front run it at 73? Maybe. But I think they're going to have to give it up. I think they're going to have to give it up. 322, that's where I'm looking at. Not in the trade right now. They won't let me get into a trade right now. The way that this price action works is just there's a no entry. This was almost an entry short. This was an entry long. This would have been a counter short. It's one of those situations. No new sellers. These are still your current players in the market. That's what's crazy. So even though there's all this price action and fendangling going on, this is still your buyer. This is still your sellers. So look at that. Look at this buyer. Look at him. Minute 30 seconds left. Algo's flipping. They're making a last stand here with their minute amount of shares, trying to encourage any buying right now. Hmm. $50. A close below the green is going to be good. A close in or above the green is going to be good for longs. Not good for my put. Got about 2 hours until FOMC. Not the decision, but I think J Powell is going to be talking. So there might be a little bit of a run up. I'm still expecting a little bit of a flush down. Okay, so this buyer's, we're going to assume this buyer's gone. The way that this is reacting is very suspicious. Very suspicious. This is not a new seller here. Keep that in mind. Not a new seller. We are quite literally just hanging out here. All right, how long have we been in this range for? Been in this range for like an hour and a half. 50-point range. I think that's all for today. Honestly, I think we will have a couple more opportunities, but you saw me trade that trade. We gave you an idea off the trade. We still got sellers here, but if they want to keep floating this thing, this is going to be very boring. So